Remembering a rock legend tonight whose debut effort is one of the top-selling albums still of all time. Musician Meat Loaf passed away last night. Tributes from fans and fellow stars are pouring in. ABC's Chris Connolly gives us a look at Meat Loaf's legacy.
So we gotta make the most of our one night together. When it's over, you know we'll both be so alone.
With a powerhouse voice and a flair for the musically melodramatic, the singer Meat Loaf became one of the most recognizable and top-selling rock recording artists ever, thanks largely to his epic single, Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
Come on.
Dynamic duet with singer Ellen Foley. It was Carla DeVito in its legendary video. The song helped to make Meat's Bat Out of Hell album one of the biggest records of all time, with more than 40 million copies sold. Born in 1947 in Dallas, Texas, Loaf's real name was Marvin Lee Aday. He got his first break starring on Broadway in the rock musical Hair. But it was his professional collaboration with songwriter Jim Steinman that would launch him onto the radio and into stardom.
It took the words right out of my mouth. Oh, it must have been while you were kissing me. You took the words right out of my mouth. Oh, and I swear it's true. I was just about to say I love you.
Loaf also took memorable turns as an actor in films like Rocky Horror Picture Show and Fight Club. His 1993 comeback album, Bat Out of Hell 2, led to his first #1 hit.
As long as the planets are turning, as long as the stars are burning, as long as your dreams are burning, you better believe it, that I would do anything for love, and I'll be there till the final act. And I would do anything for love.
How I've always approached everything that I've ever done in my work is like it's a sporting event.
With family at his side, Meat Loaf died on Thursday night. He was 74, and not to be forgotten by all who loved his music and that voice.
Chris, thank you. We are remembering another celebrity tonight. Comedian Louie Anderson has died at the age of 68. Anderson earned 3 Emmy Awards during his more than 40-year career as an author, actor, stand-up comedian, and even the writer and creator of a children's animated series. One of his last roles in the FX comedy Baskets garnered Anderson critical acclaim. Anderson's agent said he died from complications from cancer. He leaves behind a wife and 2 daughters. So 2 men, 2 different legacies in entertainment. Jem Aswad, the deputy music editor for Variety magazine, joining us now to reflect on both of their careers. Jem, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Let's begin with Meat Loaf, a rock star for sure, but his album sales kind of prove that he crossed all genres. I don't know anybody who doesn't know Paradise by the Dashboard Light, no matter what generation they're in. What was his impact on music?
His impact was huge, if only because he seemed like such an unlikely rock star. He weighed 250 pounds. In 1977, the Bee Gees were the apex of pop stardom, and he had these long, involved, really, explicit songs that took a long time to unspool. And you would see him on TV because they were very early with their videos. And he had long hair, longer than he did later, and he was sweaty, and he's wearing this like sort of opera shirt, and like that's a rock star, but he had this incredible voice and sang these fantastic songs, and that obviously was just one thing that made him stand out. You couldn't look away.
Yeah, and he was just like magnetic. His personality was, and his song "I Would Do Anything for Love" had millions of people asking what the that and "I Won't Do That" represents. Sort of the genius of songwriting. How did these involved songs grab his listeners, and did we ever find out the meaning of that?
Well, I'm told, because I don't want to burst anyone's bubble, that that is could mean several different things, and it's explained in the lyrics. So I will leave it at that. But you know, that mystery is part of what's intriguing about a pop song. I mean, that is a songwriter's dream, to come up with something that is going to have people puzzling that way. You know, I mean, it's like you want to touch people with a song in any way that you really can, any good way, and having them puzzling over something like the meaning of that is an absolutely genius way to do it. But all of the stories and all of Meat Loaf's hits were written by the late Jim Steinman, who passed away last year, and they spoke of each other as brothers, and they got along like brothers. They fought a lot. But you know, the brilliance of those songs and his delivery of them, every song had a hook. Every song had something thematic that brought you into it in a way that was a lot more involved and evolved than a lot of pop songs.
Yeah, they were epic and kind of anthemic. Meat Loaf, besides music, also made his mark in movies, including two cult classics, Rocky Horror Picture Show and, of course, Fight Club. What did these roles do for his career overall?
Fantastic things. Rocky Horror was really his introduction to the larger world. And what better thing to achieve than to be a line that people shout out at Rocky Horror viewings? What is it? It's like, what's for dinner? Hey, it's Meat Loaf, you know, because he's being eaten. So there was that. And also his role in Fight Club. A lot of people didn't see it coming. Like, I certainly didn't when I saw the film. It was just like, oh my God, that's Meat Loaf. But the character he played, if I'm remembering this right, a testicular cancer victim with very large male breasts. It takes a certain kind of person to play that role seriously.
And an artist that he could be able to do it, you know, as well as he did music. Let's get to Louie Anderson, who also hosted Family Feud. Jem, family really became the centerpiece of his work. Talk to us about how he approached that.
I mean, he's another very unlikely star to look at, quite frankly. But Family touched on so much of what he did. I think he was one of 13 kids, okay? And his father was an alcoholic, and he spoke about that a lot. And he unpacked his relationship with his mother a whole lot. And I feel like what he did is kind of normalized the conflicted relationships that we all really have with our families. You know, I mean, it's like to be able to speak about his parents, particularly his father, in the way that he did, in a way that admitted the flaws, but was still loving. It addresses reality in a way that kind of transcended the roles he took on, that transcended being a stand-up, and, you know, I mean, transcended the shows that he was on. You felt like he was being very honest, and he did it in a relatable way that made you sort of look at your own relationships with your family, parents, siblings, whoever, and show that, like, you can talk about their flaws and you can acknowledge their flaws and still love them.
Yeah, and that kind of truth in comedy seems to really connect with everybody. Finally,
Absolutely.
You can take a real good 35,000-foot view look at this. So over the last few weeks, we've lost several notable celebrities, as we do every year. Why do you think these losses leave such a mark on fans?
Celebrities connect. Okay, people become famous because they connect. Actors, singers, whoever, anyone like that. Reality TV stars. And even if you haven't thought about someone for a few years or a few decades even, their death brings that back. As more and more and more of these celebrities, pop culture figures, singers, actors, everyone that a lot of us grew up with pass, you know, I think time tends to be kind to them on their passing. And that's definitely the case with these two.
Jem, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us. Really do appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.